if you're looking for like peak performance, like esports level gameplay, you've come to the right place. Yes, you've certainly come to the right place. Hello and welcome back to the Ronin, and here we have 2 perk points. I know, it's pretty crazy, right? Because usually we don't have any perk points to spend whatsoever, because a lot of our skills are either really close to leveling, like for example riding skill, but are just taking their sweet time in finally leveling up, or they're just so far away that we'll never get there in a million years. Anyway, I've already taken a look at what we're going to be taking in the medicine tree here, and basically what I'm thinking of is pristine streets, which gives us a 20% healing bonus in towns. I don't personally care about the governor bonus at all, because the governor bonus is, in my opinion, pretty much useless unless you're going to be using companions to be governors or something along those lines. Anyway, I'm going to be taking pristine streets, 20% healing bonus in towns, always good. And we also have polearms. I actually leveled up polearms to 225, if you can believe it. I never thought that I would get there, that's for sure. Anyway, what do we have? Sure-footed, increase your defense against mount charge damage by 50%. Infantry troops in the formation you are leading have their defense against mount charge damage increased by 30%. Okay. And unstoppable force. Your couch lance attacks deal triple damage against shields. Well, that's obviously pretty good if you want to destroy shields in a very fast manner indeed, but personally I don't really care about that. I actually don't care about either of these things, so I suppose I'm going to be taking sure-footed. It's kind of a bit perplexing and confusing to me how there are always some kind of weird perk choices later on in the skill tree, because if you see this, look at this. This is a 225 level perk selection, and it's just not that good. It really isn't. It's not that good at all, and I don't really know why it's even here. I feel like these things should be super good. Like, yeah, okay, couch lance doing triple damage against shields, that sounds very good, but well, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's not, but I'm not going to be using that. I'm going to be using the other one because generally I feel like that's going to make more of a difference. What are the ones that I can get at 250? Maybe they're going to be a little bit better. Increased handling of swingable polearms are used by 15%. That's pretty significant. That is pretty significant, but bear in mind that most swinging polearms have a very low handling skill as it is, or handling attribute. So it's going to... yeah, it's not going to increase it by that much, because 15% is probably less than if you were to give just a flat value of 15 to that particular weapon. Because if it said increase handling of swingable polearms by 15, flat value, I'd probably say, yeah, give me that, you know, that's pretty cool. But yeah, we'll see what else is going on here. The other one is thrust attacks with polearms have 5%? Okay, moving on. Well, as you can see, unfortunately the garrison at Odrisa Castle has not been deposited into just yet by our recruiter, which is not that big a deal because I do have a number of other things that I have to attend to first. In other words, we're going to be taking Marinia Castle. I'm probably going to take that by myself. I know I said that I was going to go up there and try and take Myzea, but I personally feel like maybe hitting them from beneath might be a little bit better at this point, because there are a lot of armies running around in this area right now. They're generally tending to go back and forth between this fief and that fief, and I kind of don't want to get caught in the middle by that. So if we can maybe make a little bit of a diversion and, you know, go on from there, that might actually help us, you know? That might actually help us a pretty significant amount to bring those armies away from the main section of their territory in this area, and then hopefully some of our armies can swoop in there and maybe do some damage. Anyway, as I said before, yeah, those perks, 5% thrusting damage, I'm still kind of reeling from that. I'm still thinking to myself, why is it 5%? 5% thrusting damage? Like, what? Why? You know, that it's crazy. It's crazy how bad that is. Okay, well, whatever the case, who knows? Maybe maybe there'll be a mod somewhere. Maybe maybe the developers themselves will think to themselves, ah, you know, 5%, that's probably not that good. Let's do something about that, and then maybe change it, you know, change it up a little bit. Maybe that would be, that would definitely be something that I would like to see. But obviously, it's not up to me. Certainly not up to me. But as a player of the game, you know, that's my thought on it anyway. And hopefully, we're going to see some changes, at least, to some of the perks, because obviously the perks, in my opinion, some of them are actually really cool and fun, but most are not. So, it's a little bit of a mixed bag, really. Anyway, I'm actually going to be going into a battle here, like manually going in, even though this would be a prime target for an auto-resolve. But me, personally, I feel like this is going to be a really nice way for us to level up a little bit. And I'm going to try to... I think I can level up my one-handed. I'm actually not entirely sure what my one-handed skill is on at the moment. But maybe I can get some crossbow action going in here. Alright, so we've gone for the standard formation right here. We got our archers in a nice loose formation at the back on a slight elevation. And then, as you can see, there's actually a river here, which is fantastic for us, because that's going to make all the difference in slowing down our opponent's advance, and hopefully that's going to result in many more casualties for them to take. Anyway, my infantry are in a pretty rare formation for me. I've actually put them into a shield wall. Generally, I don't tend to do that, even though it would be pretty advantageous for me to do so, but most of the time I just feel like it's either not worth it because it significantly reduces their movement speed, or, well, there's something else that we need to do. But generally, their movement speed being hampered in such a dramatic, you know, instance is probably not that great, you know. So most of the time you probably want to be, yeah, let's not do that. Let's move them around about here. I think that's probably going to be a little bit better. But yeah, most of the time you probably want to have your infantry be quite mobile, unless they're in a perfect defensive position, which is exactly what they are right now. This is the position that you really want to have most of the time. Ooh, I was really going for a thrust right there on this guy. That's not going to work. Not for me, not without that 5% damage increase. Haha, I'm obviously joking. Alright, I think it's about time that we actually head across the river here and see what we can do, because bear in mind that most of these are now seemingly crossbowmen, and we certainly don't want them to just randomly shoot at us infinitely, so being able to eliminate a couple of them should send a pretty nice message to their morale at least, and maybe they'll start to rout, which is exactly what we would like them to do anyway. Oh, I really wanted to thrust at that guy. Did you see that? I lined it up almost perfectly, but then at the very end we were just like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna miss. Apparently that's my destiny when it comes to those kinds of attacks. Oh well, never mind. 27 renown, obviously, it doesn't really matter for me to even say the renown value anymore, because we are just generally doing quite well in terms of that. So anyway, I'm going to take all of these units. Thank you very much for all the Tetsujin. That's always very welcome. And just level up a couple of other people, and then we're going to just take a quick look at the prisoners. Nothing to really write home about there. We're just going to allow our people to take them, and then we'll be moving on. Oh no, look at that! We've lost the accursed. The accursed has perished, finally. So apparently the lucky, well, the lucky was not so lucky for a very long period of time, and then eventually the accursed also fell. That's actually kind of interesting. Did I say murder at all in that particular battle? I don't think I did. I don't think I did, so I'm actually kind of surprised. I would have expected, you know, everyone to survive, because I haven't been saying that in quite some time, but obviously, you know, that is just superstitious mumbo-jumbo and is not really actually going to make any difference whatsoever to whether they actually die. But still, you know, I maybe like to think that it might, because then if I refrain from saying, you know, the cursed word, then, well, maybe it can make a bit of a difference. It's superstitious, you know, it's superstitious-like, potentially. Anyway, yeah, we're just going to continue doing a little bit of auto-resolving around here, and I'm going to try... Should I even bother taking Marinia Castle, actually? I mean, it might make more sense for me to just continue killing all of these vassals around here. Bear in mind that I now need to find an additional companion, so I'm thinking I'm probably going to go to Vostrom, see if I can maybe get one from there. I mean, that's probably going to be my best bet at this point, because the closest town otherwise is Danustica, and that is a little bit too far out of my way, at least in my opinion. And we're just going to go and auto-resolve against Mr. Uruk here. There we go. Take that, sir. Yes, take that with you. Thank you very much. Take that with you into the afterlife. Unfortunately, he is not indeed joining the accursed in the afterlife, and he's just sticking around and being extremely stubborn and annoying. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here, though, because we do need to get Yorig chased down as well. I'm actually really surprised I'm able to catch up to these guys. They must have very little cavalry. There we go. Nice. Alright, so that is that done. All of the Botanians that I was able to lure out of the woodwork were eliminated. And that's generally a pretty good strategy to have, by the way. If you're not particularly fast with a certain army composition, because let's face it, my army composition is primarily archers, and I do have quite a few cavalry, hilariously enough. I did not level these cavalry up, of course. My companions, when they recruited them, they actually leveled those up over time. And we've got this guy, Robric the Shark. He has one-handed throwing. I don't know, really. I don't know. Okay, let's just choose some prisoners to be ransomed right here, because I kind of want to get some of these guys out of my inventory here, or out of my prisoner's hold, at least. There we go. I'm just going to get rid of all of them, basically, like every single one, because I don't really want to use the various units that are capable of being converted right now. I don't really want to use those in my armies. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to be leaving the Tetsujin. You know what? It's basically making no difference for me to keep it, right? Makes no difference whatsoever. So we'll just sell all of those. We're going to get a little bit of roguery. I actually have 72 in roguery, so I might be able to make it to 75, which is going to be quite good. I obviously have no idea what kind of perk we're going to get from that, but hopefully it's going to be something nice. Anyway, let's level these guys up. I really, you know, in my next series, do remind me if I forget to install party screen enhancements, because I think I could probably do it now, but I'm very wary about that kind of thing. I usually don't like to add mods after the beginning, because generally that tends to always result in some kind of weird incompatibility, and I always suffer for it as a result. And generally I'm trying to steer clear of any problems that we may indeed have as a result of installing new mods, even though they may be very, very useful. And certainly party screen enhancements, I think it is probably fine for me to integrate that into my current mod list, because I don't actually have a huge amount of mods, believe it or not. The amount of mods that I have is pretty low in comparison to what it could be. Anyway, this guy's in red, so I assume he doesn't like me, right? Why is he in red? Let's skip the pleasantries. Oh, okay. Well, apparently he's okay to join me. Alright, well, I don't know what the red name means. Does it mean that he's going to, like, defect or something? Or he's going to steal all my stuff and then leave or whatever? I'm actually not entirely sure. But we do know that he is a one-handed weapon user, so I suppose I will be attempting to give him the best possible sword that I can. There it is. And then we'll give him the best possible shield as well. There we are. All right, and what about the other stuff here that we have? Okay, so we're going to be giving him some really, really good gear, because I don't really want him to die. Bear in mind that I have kitted out my units, or should we say my party clan members, in the best possible stuff that we can afford or that we can acquire. And I was hopeful that that would actually make a difference in them actually surviving, but... yeah, they seem to be dying at a pretty steady pace, which is not great, gotta say that. Anyway, let's go to the party screen real quick. There we go, Robric, there we are. And you have 140. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, very good. He actually has a decent size, so I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, is that all I have? Are you serious? No, I surely have more than this. Okay, yeah. More Imperials, Crusade, more Imperials. There we go. Malicious Spearmen. Why is that in my army? This is pretty terrible, actually. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. I do have a couple of leftovers, but that's not really that big a deal. I mean, I guess I could keep the mercenary guards just in case. I mean, I don't really want him to overflow with units and then randomly lose some. That would be kind of wasteful in my opinion. Anyway, let's get him to join me. Thank you very much. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to aim for Poros. Poros is going to be my main target here, because if we can strike... You know what? I'm actually thinking maybe we should go a little bit further. Maybe we should be a little bit more risky. And maybe we should attempt to take Zionica. That might actually make more sense, because if we can take Zionica, that is going to just draw every single vassal in the area to it, because they perceive it as being pretty weak, you know? They perceive it as being weak defensively. They're going to be able to take it back relatively quickly, and so on. So the AI is probably going to think, yes, let us just tunnel vision this thing, and that is going to just give us an overwhelming advantage in that sense. So maybe I'll try. Yeah, okay, fine. Let's try it. The way that I come up with these kinds of plans, oh yes, it's just complete luck, random chance. Yes, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. If you're looking for like peak performance, like esports level gameplay, you've come to the right place. Yes, you've certainly come to the right place. If you can't tell, I'm joking. Ah, yes, lovely. Yeah, but no, I am certainly not on that level. Certainly not. But yeah, I try my best. You know, try my best to be, well, to be whatever I aim to be, I suppose. And oh, he's finally joined us. Wow, I actually left him behind. That was not exactly good. That was not good to do. But I guess we don't really mind too much. I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he's used to it. All right, so we do have a couple of other people coming in here. They are terrible. All right, I don't need to worry about them whatsoever. They have about 50 recruits each, and they have a grand total of about 100 units in their armies. So I really don't need to worry about them at all. And you know what? I'd like to get another companion if at all possible. And hopefully, you know what? I'm gonna... yeah, if these guys don't join an army, what I'm gonna do is if an army appears out of nowhere and it's a really, really large one that I can't possibly fight and even expect to win against them, or if in general they... You know what? I'm gonna do it now. I'm going to do it now. Okay, so let's have a look here. I'm moving at 4.0 technically, and they are moving at 3.4. These people are moving at 3.4, 3.4. Okay, so Gifor. We're going to try and get Gifor to join us. Eh? Shall we try and persuade him? He's got minus 100 relation with us. It's probably not going to work, is it? All right, let's try it. Boom. Ineffective. 69% chance. Never liked that number anyway. Alright, great. Okay, so we're done. There's nothing else I can do unless I get another critical effect. But 69% chance I actually thought was a pretty decent shot. But apparently that is not enough because the rest are all 100%. So yeah, it's just random chance. And that's also somewhat of a reason that I'm not a big fan of the whole persuasion system because... Oh, what? Oh. Okay, apparently... Oh, Jathia. Ah, my bad. I thought it was an L in there. All right, let's have a look. Oh no, Oros is the leader of this clan. Svedorn. What about Svedorn? How are you doing, sir? But yeah, as I was saying, that's the reason why I'm also not a particularly big fan of the persuasion system or the way it works right now. I feel like the persuasion system is really fun, but I feel like it is a little bit too punishing for when you actually fail a persuasion attempt. I feel like it should provide you with, I don't know, maybe a second chance at least, and that's it. Obviously, I believe that if you do leave it a little bit of time, so if you leave it like an in-game week or something like that, then you can return to that person and then you can try again. But I don't know. I feel like if you're charming enough, you should be able to just redo it straight away. So maybe it could be a perk or something like that. That would actually make more sense in a gameplay and a theme perspective as well, because obviously if you have, I don't know, 300 charm or something like that, then it is going to be very expected that you're going to be a silver-tongued devil of some kind, and you're going to be able to persuade anyone to do whatever you want, for the most part. Obviously, you know, you have to go through the same checks and everything, but maybe having a perk that would allow you to speak to the same vassal 3 times in a row, or the same NPC, shall we say, because you never know when you want to try and persuade a lady to marry you. And that's also bringing me to the next point. A lot of people have been asking me when I'm going to get married, or when I am, or shall we say, if I'm even going to get married. And that is a very good point. That's something that I haven't really thought about. I'm not playing as Bruce here, I'm playing as Byron, my bad. And we are 36. We are 36. So it is highly probable that we might be able to marry someone, but I actually don't know who to marry in this aspect. I think Ira would be really good. I think she would be really good. Oh, she's dead. Never mind. Okay, she's dead. She died age 22? Whoa. Okay, that's harsh. That's real harsh. Did I kill her? I think I must have killed her somehow. I'm not entirely sure how, but I must have eliminated her in some battle or another, and I didn't even realize. Okay, so what about Liena? There we go. Okay, yeah, she's still alive and kicking, but she is part of the Vlandians, and it is going to be very hard for me to get there. She is also 38, so it might... Oh, she's also married. Never mind. Okay, I actually don't know whether you can force spouses to leave their previous partner. I'm actually not entirely sure whether that's even implemented or whether that's even possible. I know that it was possible to elope with a prospective love interest in Warband, but I'm not entirely sure about Bannerlord, so yeah, kind of interesting. Okay, so let's go to heroes real quick. Let's select female. Alive, please. Yes, we're not into the other kind of female, thank you very much. Let's go Tetsujin. Okay. No, none? None? Oh, there are just no Tetsujin. Okay, they just don't show Tetsujin in the thing. All right. Okay, good to know. And not married. Okay, this is actually fantastic. This is a really nice filtering system. Actually, got to give them props for this because it makes it so much easier to find people that you potentially want to marry. What about the Khuzait? Can I get anyone here? What about this one? She's obviously not married. We know that she's not married, and she's actually honorable and fearless. Perfect. She's a member of the Azurai, actually, right now. So that's pretty cool. What? I selected Khuzait. What? She must have defected. Yeah, she must have defected, right? She was last at Odok 3 days ago. Okay, I think we're probably going to go for her then. Alright, yeah, we're probably going to go for her, but first, let us just murder every single person that we can. Actually, wait a minute. Encurion, I can actually persuade him potentially. Let's try it. Okay. Oh no, a 69% chance to get. I'm gonna go for honor this time. Boom. Whew. Okay, it actually worked. It actually worked. So we might have an opportunity here. Obviously, we just have 100% the whole way through otherwise. And hopefully we're going to be able to expand our ranks, even just a slight amount. But obviously, Encurion probably has a significant amount of cash. As you could quite clearly tell, he does. He has 514,000. So it's highly unlikely if I literally... Okay, now, this is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. He's probably the lord of some things. Yeah, he has Omor and he has Flinthold Castle. That's the reason why he's also a little bit stubborn. And of course, his relation with us at the moment is in the negative. So that is very much causing a bit of a problem there for him. But I still think it is rather ridiculous to assume that he's not going to accept 6.18 million gold to join the faction. I feel like that is a little bit weird. I mean, really, if you were... Let's just have like a little bit of a theoretical discussion here. If you were offered 6 million in your currency, whatever it may be, and you were required to, I don't know, leave your job or leave your household, wherever that may be, and then join someone else's household for 6 million, you do that, right? No? Maybe? Yes? I don't know. I mean, it depends how long that would actually be the case, but this guy's probably going to leave in the first 2 seconds anyway, so it actually makes no difference whatsoever. But generally, I feel like most people will be thinking to themselves, oh, 6 million? Oh, no, thank you. I mean, really, surely. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to me, but I guess there's a certain logic to it, because, of course, he does have some land, and as I've said, his negative relation with us is also making a bit of a problem there. But that's the reason why I really enjoyed playing with diplomacy fixes, which is another mod that basically adds a huge amount of extra options in regards to diplomacy and interacting with enemy vassals and things like that. This guy, I think we can also attempt to persuade. Let's try honor again. Yes, it seems like honor is actually working much better than charm in that regard, so I'm pretty happy with this. Now we just have 100%. He's going to be the same thing, isn't he? He's going to do the same thing where he's going to say, oh, this is a dangerous step. Yes, okay. He has 67,000. He should be much more pliable then. He has one castle, but he is negative 100 relation with us. But still, 6.18 million. You know, I feel like this game needs co-op. I would love for this game to have co-op. I talked about this years and years ago when Bannerlord was still very early in development. We had heard nothing about it for a very long period of time, and I was talking about what kind of features I would like to see in the game. And I was talking about destructible environments, so you could destroy the walls, and you could use siege equipment, and all of that stuff is kind of implemented in a certain aspect or another. But yeah, generally, what I also wanted to see was, well, co-op gameplay. Being able to play with your friends in the same game world, or being able to play online, either against or with people, you know, and not just in battles. I'm talking about not just in battles, but on the world map itself, so kind of have like a, I don't know, civilization sort of feel to it. Obviously, it's not turn-based, so it might be a little bit difficult for that to make happen, but I don't know. I think it would be a lot of fun. Huge amounts of fun, actually. Just imagine the amount of crazy things that would go on when you have another player in the game. I mean, just imagine that. I could invite you as well. I could literally invite you to my game here, and then you could take control of something, and then it would just be an absolutely hilarious slaughter fest of the Battanians, because obviously you're not going to fight against me, right? You're not going to fight against me because, you know, we're going to work together against the foul menace of the Battanians, of course. But yeah, obviously there's no chance of that even being a thing, because they don't allow it at the moment, at least. I mean, here's the thing. If they do have the ability to do so, the modding community is probably going to come up with some kind of co-op mod. I mean, they already had a co-op mod in Warband, but that was obviously to do in the multiplayer, and it was only in battles, wave-based survival battles, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. I think that that mod was actually very well done, extremely polished and fun. But I would love to see a co-op campaign of some kind, you know? Something like that would be really nice. I mean, they do it in Crusader Kings, right? They do it in Crusader Kings, they do it in Europa Universalis 4, they do it in all kinds of, technically, kind of real-time sort of thing, because that's not really, I mean, I guess it is turn-based to a certain extent, because everyone plays a year, and then they end turn or end year, and then they go on to the next one, but most of the actions are done in real time in that respect. So I don't know. I don't know. It would be kind of cool. Anyway, I feel like it would be insanely fun. But anyway, let's do a little bit of a siege here. As I said before, we're gonna just try to bait out that army. I'm actually thinking that, you know what? This is actually working much better than I anticipated, because just look at what we're able to do here. I literally have the full attention of the Battanian forces. Every single one of their military-focused armies is right here. At least I hope so, you know. I mean, I assume that there are definitely going to be some that are not here, but for the most part, they're all here, and they are all basically, you know, right there, ripe for the pickings, pretty much. And they're not doing anything. Look at this. They're not doing anything whatsoever. Oh, hello. That is a very large army. That is an army that I don't really want to go towards, if at all possible. Okay, this is a bit problematic. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to act like I'm running away a little bit, and then I'm going to try and get into battle with the guy with 108. No, too close. Yeah. Okay, so how... 3.2. He's moving at 3.2. Technically, I should be able to get into a battle with this guy. Get him. Get him. Yeah, there we go. All right, we're going to go in for a manual battle here because it's 422. That's pretty significant, so don't really want to lose any additional units that I have to, and then we'll see what we can do here. Oh, this is one of my least favorite map sets, actually. Unless there's a river in the center, I'm not a big fan of it because there are so many trees, and you know me, trees are basically almost my mortal enemy with the exception of horse archers, of course. But anyway, let's move my infantry up here. And we're going to get out our polearm, of course. Maybe it would make sense for me to actually use my crossbow here a little bit, but I'm actually thinking that maybe we should just leave it the way it is. Because we are pretty effective with the polearm, right? You know, pretty effective with it, or at least I like to think so. Anyway, let's get my archers over here. Let's tell them to go into a loose formation. Tell our cavalry to charge, I guess? Yeah, let's just tell them to charge, actually. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do something that I haven't done in a while. Can I tell them to auto-delegate, actually? I can't. What? Why not? Where's the auto-delegate function? There isn't one. Really? I'm actually very surprised, because usually what you'd be able to do is select some units and then you could press F6 or something, and then it would toggle on auto delegate, and that would allow horse archers to do skirmish maneuvers, it would allow archers to do skirmish maneuvers, and generally it would make everything a little bit more dynamic for when you didn't necessarily want to command your units yourself, which for the most part actually would work quite nicely. I've done it in the past and it has worked pretty well. Oh, nice hit. Alright, I've got to be a bit careful here because I am now starting to dwindle my HP a little bit too much. Those archers are just that little bit too accurate for my liking, so gonna have to be a bit cautious here, as he says and runs in. That is hilarious. Okay, well, I think we're pretty good. I don't think we're going to have any problems defeating the remaining forces. Oh, even if I get murdered, really? Oh, are you serious? What actually happened right there? Okay. I got killed by a polearm. Right, I got killed by a polearm. I'm actually not entirely sure which unit took me out, but it was obviously a polearm. Pretty clearly, because it was piercing damage. Sounded like there was a hit going on there. That was actually kind of disappointing. I actually thought that maybe I would survive until the very end there, but now Auto-Delegate is going to completely murder us. Well, kind of. At least a little bit. And otherwise, that's a pretty significant amount of Botanians. And there it is. A nice victory for us. We only lost 37? Really? Okay. That's actually pretty surprising to me. I thought that we had lost many more than that. But I guess it's all right. Anyway, me leaving those prisoners, that basically just means that my people will take them and then they'll sell them the next time we're in a nearby town. Makes the most sense to me, at least. And look at that! Yes! Perfect. All right, yeah. That's the kind of... See, now, that's the reason why going into a manual battle every so often is, in my opinion, a pretty good way to go about things. Because I'm not sure if there's an internal cooldown or some kind of cooldown on how often vassals can actually die. Because I haven't actually done any testing on that. I've not seen any code regarding to that or anything. But it would be very interesting to find out whether there is a cooldown on it, because that would then mean that, for example, for the next 2 weeks, there cannot be any deaths to enemy vassals, potentially. But obviously I'm not entirely sure whether that's actually the case, so, you know, don't quote me on it or anything. But yeah, anyway, here's a nice little overview of the world map, and seems like my forces are not really doing much. This is actually kind of strange. We do have an army, as you can see quite clearly right here, and they're gathering near Bunko. I assume that once they're done gathering, they're going to be going on the offensive, hopefully. And we'll see what happens with that. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.